Hey, Larry Vickers here, the Vickers Tactical channel. We've had a lot of fan requests over the last year or so to do a shotgun video. Well, we heard you loud and clear. Coming up next, a video on the double barrel pump shotgun DP12. Okay, let me take you through the features of the DP12 and compare and contrast it to the most common pump shotgun on the market, the Remington 870. Now up front, we have two barrels and two magazine feed tubes. Both of them are threaded for common choke tubes. And as a matter of fact, standard manufacturing offers a standoff breacher special choke tube for this weapon that's available separately. 18-inch barrel, more or less, roughly the same as this particular 870. Big difference, this has a bullpup configuration, which means essentially the operating group is placed behind the trigger mechanism. This shortens the overall length of the weapon dramatically. This gun's right around 38 inches, this is right around 29 inches, so you're looking at almost 10 inches shorter for the same barrel length, okay? We have the slide mechanism or the pump operating mechanism here with a vert grip attached to it, Picatinny Rail on the bottom. You have a Picatinny Rail on top. You also have slots for mounting various Picatinny rails, so if you want to put a white light on the gun, you have that option. Move back, you can see there's windows into the tube so you can see if you have remaining ammunition left, provided the lighting situation allows that. Your slide release is right here. This is essentially the same thing you'd see on a Remington 870, but it's much bigger and much easier to use, and also easier for left-handed or right-handed user to use. Here's a biggie. One of the biggest differences between this gun and the 870 is the safety. It has an M4 M16 style ambidextrous safety that's manipulated in exactly the same way that you would on an M16 family weapon. That's a big difference to the 870. I'll get back to it here in a second. The receiver's machined out of one piece of 7075 aircraft grade aluminum. Come back here, special recoil pad that has some spring loaded action to it to take out some of the shock. Now, this gun's almost 10 pounds in weight, so it's significantly heavier than that, but remember, you have up to a 16 round capacity with a max 8 round capacity in the 870, so twice as many rounds can be held in this shotgun. Now, from an end user perspective, this is the big thing you need to dial in on between these two. This one most people use in what we call cruiser ready, or what we would know in the handgun world as condition 3. Empty chamber, loaded tube. So this one really is a 7-round weapon, even though it's capable of holding 8 rounds with one in the chamber. Because of the location of the safety, most people run the chamber empty, and when they need a gun, they rack around in the chamber and they're ready to go. You flip over to the DP12, it's designed from the start to be run with rounds in both chambers, manual safety put on safe, which gives you a capacity of 16 rounds versus the cruiser ready position of the 870 with 7 rounds. For a self-defense situation, somebody kicking in your back door, that is going to be critical for a gun like this, because in reality, your ability to reload a shotgun under stress, such as a home invasion or a life or death situation, is going to be minimal. You're essentially going to be taken to the fight whatever you got in a gun. So if it's a pump gun like the 870, that's really 7 rounds, 8 rounds max. This gun, up to 16 rounds. Big difference. Okay, one thing you need to keep in mind when you compare these two shotguns, the 870 was designed for commercial sporting or hunting use and then put into tactical use in law enforcement and military. As a matter of fact, Wilson Combat owns Scattergun Technologies. They're the best known name in the customizing of 870 shotguns in the business. This particular shotgun has Scattergun Technology sights on it. Now you flip over to the DP12. It was a gun that was designed from the start for tactical, law enforcement, military, and home defense use. Sporting use is secondary with this gun. Where does that come into play? Your ability to accessorize it, mount optics, lights, and whatnot. Now you gotta remember, it's a pump shotgun, so the fore end slides front and back, just like on the 870. So when you mount white lights or slings, that has to be taken into account. It's not the same as an M4 or an AR-15 where the forearm is stationary. You got to remember that, and you have to apply some thought process into where you mount those accessories. Now, also different than the 870, ejection on the 870 is out the side, you load from the bottom. With the DP-12, because of the side-by-side setup of both pump-action shotguns, it feeds and ejects both from the bottom. So really loading this gun, in my opinion, your best bet is going to be to flip it over, use gravity to your advantage, flip the gun upside down and load it, and when you're ready, flip it back up and use it that way. Overall, very well made. It was designed as a tactical shotgun, remember, instead of a sporting shotgun, so the price really wasn't a factor. It's substantially more expensive than a standard 870 shotgun, but there's a lot of engineering that went into it, and Connecticut Shotgun Company, the parent company for Standard Manufacturing, makes very high-end sporting shotguns, so that's why you see they kind of went the Mercedes route on this, and it shows. Okay, next up here on the DP-12 is the reload challenge between the 870 and the DP-12. Now, I have this particular 870 set up in cruiser ready. 7 in the tube, none in the chamber, and then I have 7 here on the butt cuff side saddle. So the theory here is, I've got 2 targets downrange from a position of cover. I'm gonna engage both targets till I run dry, then reload it and engage them 7 more rounds for a total of 14 shots. Then we'll reset and set up the DP-12 for the same situation with 14 shots. My good buddy Chief has my timer, and he's gonna time my run with the 870 first, and then we'll time it with the DP-12. Okay, here we go.
Shooter ready.
Go, Chief, what do we got for time?
37.23.
37.23 on the timer. All right, so now let's reset. I'll bring the DP-12 up. We'll see how we do with it. All right, next up for the challenge is the DP-12. It's in cruiser ready, which means both tubes are fully loaded, empty chamber. So a total of 14 rounds in the gun. We have new targets up, brown this time, and I'm gonna do the same thing. First shot on the left target, second shot on the right target. One of the things you need to understand on this DP-12 is you pump it once, you shoot twice. You've got to get that sequence down. If you're a pump shotgun guy and you're used to pumping and shooting every shot, remember, you pump once, shoot twice. So we'll see how it goes.
.84.
Not bad. Check it, make sure it's clear. Good to go. 13.84 versus over 30 seconds for the 870 having to reload. Heard it many years ago from my good buddy Ken Hackathorn. When you go shoot shotgun matches like in 3-gun, the shotgun always turns into a reloading match. So if you can start with more rounds in the gun, you're gonna be better off. In the case of a DP-12, 14 rounds in both tubes. Now, a couple things. One, much heavier gun than the 870. All right, so the 870 is lighter and easier to maneuver. So if that's a major issue to you, you need to check into it. This is a much heavier gun, but there's a payoff with that too. Recoil is much softer. Using a variety of loads here, from slugs all the way down to birdshot like we used on this reload drill, this is a softer shooting gun because it's a heavier gun. In addition, much easier gun to mount a red dot sight on. This aim point is a huge advantage over iron sights, pretty much in any conditions. So overall, without a doubt, in the reload challenge, especially since I didn't have to reload the DP12, it obviously walked the dog on this particular contest. Hey, we've heard reports on how well these things shoot at distance, so we're going to use a variation of the walk back challenge I use in my pistol and carbine classes to hopefully demonstrate that fact. Downrange, I have 2 pieces of MGM steel, B and C zone size targets, both exactly the same size. The DP12 shoots the right barrel first, left barrel second. So first shot, I'm gonna go on the right piece of steel. Second shot, I'm going the left piece of steel. Okay, the DP12 is capable of shooting 2 3/4 and 3-inch shells. Right now for the walk back challenge, I have 2 3/4 1-ounce slugs. Exact same brand, in this case Remington, and we're gonna try it at 25, 50, and 75 yards. 1 on each at each distance. Wish me luck. Going hot. One-ounce slug, baby. Time to go back to 50. Okay, we're back here at 50, 25 yards went great. Matter of fact, I knocked down the right piece of steel, so we'll see what happens at 50. Going hot, remember the right steel first because the right barrel fires first. Got it. Now it's time to go back to 75. All right, so we're back here at 75. Couple things on this. On the right target, the right barrel, I'm able to hold dead center with my aim point. On the left one, I gotta lean to the right edge in order to get the hit. So I'll be interested to see at 75 yards how much deviation we have. If we still can pretty much hold anywhere on the steel and get hits with the rifle slugs. Now, a couple things on the manual safety I've figured out. Gun's cocked, rounds in the chamber, everything's good to go. You can manipulate the manual safety. Once you fire that first round, okay, now the manual safety, you can no longer put it on safe. It has to stay on fire. So if you're ever in a situation where you fire one round and the right tube, or the right barrel is fired, you gotta remember, the manual safety is not gonna be operable, and you're just gonna have to make sure you keep your finger out of the trigger guard for a safety on the left barrel. Now, once you fire the left barrel, then you're good to go. You can rack it and engage the safety again. You need to be aware of that. All right, so here we go. Wish me luck. Right steel first. Okay, well, we hit it at 75. Now my crew wants me to try back to 100. We'll try it and see how it goes. I got a real rough quick zero on this thing. I did not shoot it on paper, which is something that you'd want to do if you're serious about using it with slugs at distance. So we'll go back to 100 and see how it does. Okay, we're back here at 100. I'm gonna see if I can hit the steel offhand. Right barrel, right target, left barrel, left target. And the right target, I'm holding dead center. On the left target, I gotta hold right edge, okay? So we'll see how it goes. No. Okay, let's get down and check it out. Hit the right one. I could tell by watching my aim point dot, I broke the one a little bit left on the left one, and then no doubt it went off the left edge. So we'll go check out the hits. Okay, here we are at the targets. Right target, left target. Remember, right barrel, left barrel. Now, before we did this walk back challenge, I did a real quick down and dirty zero with my aim point to get me on the steel. The concept behind this was just to see how far back we could go with the slugs and hit the steel. Remember, we're dealing with a double-barreled shotgun here, so that to somehow think that they're both gonna hit the exact same point of aim, point of impact at distance is not gonna happen. Actually, it's fairly close. right target, I was able to aim dead center and get hits on steel all the way back to 100. Now, on the left target, left barrel, I had to favor to the right. Because I noticed early on, even at 25 yards, my shots were drifting to the left, and in order to hit this steel, I had to put my aim point over here on the right edge. Now, if this is something you're serious about, DP-12 engaging targets at distance with slugs, say up to 100 yards, what you're gonna need to do is go out and get it on paper, put a bullseye up, actually get in a prone position, a rested position, very stable, put it on paper with both barrels, and here's what I would recommend. Try different slugs. Ammunition varies, gun to gun, lot to lot. You need to find out the slug that's gonna work best for you. You might find a slug that prints closer to point aim, point impact with both barrels, and that's the one you go with. Overall, my impression, I'm pretty impressed on how the DP-12 did on the walk back challenge. Okay, one of the things you need to take into consideration on a pump shotgun, whether it be the DP-12 or another pump shotgun, is feed reliability. You need to run the gun in any realistic scenario or position you might find yourself in the real world. You don't want to find out that there's a feed hiccup on your manually operated pump shotgun when you're in the middle of a home invasion. So I'm going to run through some demonstrations here. Essentially, running the pump action shotgun at different angles, like you're leaning around a doorway to the left or to the right, or up a stairwell, or even down a set of stairs. And you know what? Can't really think of a realistic scenario to run the gun upside down, but I'll try that also, and hopefully the gun will run fine. So here we go. First off, let's try to the left as if I'm angling around a left side barricade. Okay, no problem there. Now we'll try it to the right. No issues there. Now I'm going to try it actually up into the tree line just a little bit. This is bird shot, so it's no big deal, and we're on a safe range environment. And I'm going to, as if I'm having to shoot up a stairwell, and see if there's any issues running the gun at an upward angle. No problem. Now I'm going to have to get myself in a position up on this berm and run the gun pointed down to see if there's any issues feed reliability wise with the gun pointed down. Okay, in this scenario, I'm going to shoot down into that berm in a safe direction as if I'm shooting down a set of stairs. All right, and we'll see if there's any feed reliability issues. No problem. I'll come down there and try shooting the gun upside down. Okay, now we've obviously done it with the gun vertical multiple times today. We've done it to the left, we've done it to the right, and now I just did it angled down and angled up. I'm going to try to do it upside down. I guess the theory behind this is you could be taking cover underneath a car, and the gun might not only be tilted on its side, they could almost be inverted somewhat. So we'll try that and see if there's any feed reliability issues. I can tell you, remember, this is a manually operated weapon, so it's real critical that you're real vigorous and firm with your pump action. All the way back and all the way forward. You have to be real positive about that, or you can what they call short stroke the gun, and that can cause feed reliability issues. I haven't really seen that with this DP-12, but I can tell you from first-hand experience, short stroking can be a problem with the 870 if you're not real vigorous about locking it out and in, all right? So we'll try it upside down and see how it goes. Wow, pretty impressive. Key there was real vigorous slide action, so I was able to kick the empties out of the gun. I wanted to make sure I addressed this with this because I'd seen another Guy on YouTube, another YouTube channel, had some issues running the gun angled down and cycling it. I talked to the standard manufacturing people. They'd assured me that they'd fixed that in the gun. And so far, based on the gun they sent me to test, I've seen no problems. Hey, we've been out here all day setting up a wide variety of scenarios for you for the DP12. I hope you enjoyed it. You know, to be honest with you, I'm really not much of a shotgun guy, but I had fan requests and I had some requests from friends of mine within the industry to take a look at the DP12. They were telling me it was a high quality shotgun and it's worth a second look. I would tend to agree. The Connecticut shotgun company that manufactures it, the parent company to Standard Manufacturing, they know how to build quality guns. Their sporting shotguns are extremely high quality. And from what I saw in the DP12, very well made shotgun. In my opinion, if you're a serious shotgun guy and it's a gun that you would grab in a home defense situation, you need to take a hard look at the DP12. It's extremely well made. We had no issues with it at all today, and it holds twice as many rounds as any other pump shotgun, more or less, on the market. Now, it's a little on the heavy side, so if you're gonna set it up for the misses, you need to take that into account. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good one. LAV out. Hey, thanks for watching the Vickers Tactical YouTube channel. To subscribe, click here. And to watch some of my favorite videos, click here. Have a good one. LAV out.